another of the newcomers, the Uruguayan Poyet. Dan Petrescu has been ill, though he is on the bench, so there's a place in the starting 11 for the very promising 18-year-old Jody Morris.
Chelsea with the back four: Sinclair, Leboeuf, Clark and Granville. I like young Granville. Lovely left foot, ex-Cambridge United. Whether he'll try and venture forward too much this afternoon, we'll have to wait and see. Jody Morris sitting in front of the back four. And then Wise on the right-hand side. Di Matteo, can he get off to a cracking start like the cup final against Middlesbrough? Loves to get forward. Tremendous striker of the ball. And Poyet, watch for him breaking into the box. Very strong in the air. And a great strike force of Zola and Hughes for Manchester United to contend with.
A worry about the shortage of centre-backs evaporated when both Ronnie Johnson and Gary Pallister were past fit. So Gary Neville joins David Beckham amongst the substitutes, both late starters for training after the tournoi with England. So Phil Neville and Paul Scholes, who did themselves a power of good in France in June, are in the starting 11, along of course with the one major summer signing, Teddy Sheringham.
Peter Schmeichel will be delighted to have Ronnie Johnson and Gary Pallister in front of him. Neville on the left-hand side, Irvin trying to get forward, but look at the midfield of United, very strong indeed. Scholes, who will try and link with Sheringham. Keane, so tigerish in midfield, great in the tackle, and young Nicky Butt alongside him. What a season he had last year. Expect Sheringham to come drifting into this area, but as Andy Cole, he will be the main striker, with Ryan Giggs flying at every opportunity to join Andy Cole on the left-hand side.
Not on the field for the kick-off today.
Yeah, both managers, I felt before the game, looked so relaxed, Martin. But I'm pretty certain, yes, a friendly, but in that dressing room, come on, lads.
Well, the FA Cup holders to kick off. History favours the champions in the Charity Shield match-up. It also favours the northern clubs as well. The last side from the south to win the Shield outright, that was Tottenham 35 years ago. Jody Morris, who spent the summer playing in the Junior World Cup, the under-20 competition in Malaysia, and he did very well for England too. Offside, and a quick free kick taken by Irwin. Manchester United have been on their travels, of course. They had a tour to the Far East pre-season. Chelsea went there post-season, straight after, the day after winning the FA Cup. And more recently, United have had a home and away game against Inter from Milan.
Andy Cole early, he'd be looking to get off to a good start early on this season, hopefully injury-free and a few goals.
Scholes, who of course got off to a great start to his international career. What a debut, a full debut that was against Italy and Nantes. Sheringham, he knows his way around Wembley, of course. Strong play against Giggs by Sinclair, but he allowed Scholes the side of the ball. Keane, not much to the right-hand side. There's no Beckham on the right, no Podolski either. Irwin getting there. Try and give some shape to that part of the pitch. It's not quite a natural blend with Butt, Scholes and Keane. He wants to operate more centrally. That's where we found him in these opening seconds. This is Poyet, who's had some good seasons in Spanish football with Zaragoza. Granville. Came off the thigh of Roy Keane, and Chelsea have a corner to cheer.
Yeah, Danny Granville, what a great start this being a winning side for Chelsea. Very educated left foot. He'll be nervous, but after 10-15 minutes it should go.
Wise waiting for a short corner to work with Zola, and he can try again. The ball bouncing off the back of Scholes. Well, we're in the third minute, and we haven't yet mentioned Mark Hughes playing against Manchester United again, waiting in the centre just beyond the far post. Brought away purposefully by Keane. He hoped down the line, but I think it's crossed the line.
Yeah, he'd no target man to hit there. He looked a couple of times, looking for a little bit of help. But in the end, Keane was rather, just delighted to get rid of the ball and push up 10, 15 yards out of defence.
Leboeuf. Now Mott's. So much made of Chelsea's investments around the world. But they would, I'm sure, like us to point out, Alan, that they do bring some players on themselves. And Morris, a flag bearer in that respect. Master, headed down. Dr. Mark Hughes, of course, made history with yet another FA Cup winners' medal in May.
Yeah, Mar doesn't quite catch this one. Good ball in the box from Wise. Pallister gets a good header away, but Hughes, well, we've seen Sparky hit better ones than that. But what a good buy he's been for Chelsea. What a target man, so strong. Ask any other centre-half in the Premier, they don't like playing against Mark Hughes.
Oh, Cole trying to show up front, showing him as you'd expect in a deeper position. But the two link up well here. Granville getting back quickly. Leboeuf came across as well. United get the throw.
Yeah, good start for Danny Granville. Showing a bit of pace there.
A clap of the hands from Sheringham to Cole for his work in that link up between the two. Andy Cole, incidentally, did play in a Charity Shield before in one of his very rare appearances for Arsenal back in '91. Came on as a substitute on that occasion. Zola. See the willingness already of Poyet to get forward.
Yeah, it was interesting there because Zola had two options there, Martin. He decided to go for the Uruguayan Poyet. And if you look at the right, Wise had made a run and Sinclair, but Zola trying to get Poyet into the game as often as possible.
Scholes. He might have been a bit surprised that Sheringham was signed at the two on the same wavelength here. Paul Scholes! Well, it's buried in the midriff of Edgar Pouy, who is a very big man, the new Chelsea goalkeeper.
Yes, super save from Pouy, and that will certainly give him so much confidence. I'm just wondering if Paul Scholes took a knock there. But for someone to open the scoring, you wouldn't bet against this young man, would you? What a season last year, and looks sharp as ever.
Sheringham played it through. Scholes kept going and got in the shot under some pressure.
And that will certainly give the big Dutch goalkeeper tremendous confidence. But that's what Sheringham's so good at. He's a build-up play, not just a target man. But the big Dutch goalkeeper, well, maybe it was straight at him from Paul Scholes. But confidence, that's what a goalkeeper wants, an early touch.
Just nicked away from Poyet by Keane. Sheringham making himself available. Phil Neville supporting Butt. And Sheringham's gone offside. Chelsea stepped up.
Teddy Sheringham certainly a few yards offside there, Martin, but he's so dangerous, Teddy. 1 minute he's coming deep to get the ball off the centre halves. He's a drifter. And I'm pretty certain Alec Ferguson has said, go on, just go out and enjoy yourself. He's got carte blanche today.
Back to Schmeichel via some good covering from Irwin. Scholes dropping it over the top of Leboeuf. He hopes not quite, but it might yet reach Cole via the Frenchman's head. And it was a good and important challenge by Steve Clarke.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Steve Clarke playing back there in the pre-season tournament. Looked full of confidence. And that definitely stretched Chelsea. Leboeuf heads it in there. Cole thinking about the right foot volley, but Clarke gets back and defends well.
Chelsea have won the Charity Shield once before. And the match that followed their only championship triumph in 1955. The football world was so much different then. Maximum wage at around £20 a week. But they've never played since the tournament has been, since the match rather has been staged here at Wembley, which began in 1974. They've never been involved in the showpiece occasion until now, and they've played their part in invigorating opening 8 minutes or so. But comes for Sheringham. And he tees it in again behind Chelsea.
Yeah, United beginning to probe away at this Chelsea defence, Martin. All of a sudden the passes are coming right. Nicky Butt linking up well with Teddy Sheringham.
Here's Sheringham, who's been very, very involved in the opening Manchester United attack, and Ferguson will be delighted about that. It's a settling-in process that, of course, ends, if you like, pre-season when Sheringham returns to White Hart Lane next Sunday. Amazing the way the fixtures work out sometimes. And, of course, you'll see Tottenham against Manchester United live on Sky Sports a week today.
Well, if anyone's going to fill Cantona's shoes, Teddy's a type of, he's a similar type of player, likes to drift off defenders, beautiful touch and a great brain. Perhaps Eric had a little bit more pace than Teddy, but Sheringham may just end up scoring a few more goals than Eric Cantona.
He'll certainly be pleased if that comes true. Ronnie Johnson, who's graduated up the number order to wear number 5 this season. Key. Come out by Di Matteo. Poyet is there. Uruguayan to Welshman Hughes. Hoisted forward rather speculatively by Giggs, but Cole setting off with real vigour and making it awkward for Leboeuf.
I think the evidence is there, Martin, that Andy Cole has certainly got the legs on Frank Leboeuf. Leboeuf reads the ball well, reads the game very, very well, gets to the ball first, but you can see with the right quality service, I think Cole has got the legs on Leboeuf.
Keane. A free kick for Manchester United. Not the tallest, Jody Morris, but he's been working the weights, he's been telling me, and he's a bit broader in the shoulder this season. So Ryan Giggs with a Manchester United free kick. Just over 10 minutes gone. Alistair goes towards the near post. Coming around the back with Sheringham. Improved by Butt. Philip Neville. And Chelsea moving up again, and Manchester United have already read the script here. But there is space behind the Chelsea back four to drop the ball into.
Yeah, without a doubt. And Chelsea do like to push up, Martin. Leboeuf's the governor there, he says out. And he does like to push up, this time successfully. And if there's a criticism in Chelsea's defence, Martin, I think it could be set pieces. There's no real tremendous headers of the ball there. And then the Man United side, you've got Pallister, you've got Johnson, and you've also got Sheringham.
That goes Philip Neville. Yes, of course, Michael Dewberry is still recovering from a long-term injury.
Yeah, I wish him well, because I think he's a top player, or is certainly going to be a top player.
Who played here for Uruguay against England back in '95. Zola. Well blocked by Scholes.
Thing with Paul Scholes now, I think, with Butt and Keane, they can be the anchor man in the midfield and give Scholes the opportunity to strike forward as often as possible.
Di Matteo. Here's his flip. Only tailor-made for Pallister. He's brought out by the eager Morris. Taken on by Di Matteo from Zola's pass. Mark Hughes rolled forward as well, and Schmeichel realises that he had to kick that one away. Even more difficult to be a goalkeeper this season, because goalkeepers now can't handle a throw-in back to them from from their own side. Morris. The second is there, given Ronnie Johnson a problem, but one thing about Johnson, he's got the speed difficulties, and he looked as though he was struggling for a second, but only for a second.
Yeah, he's good body strength as well, Martin.
Clark. Dwindling number of Scotsmen now at Stamford Bridge. Just stopping that being a perfect pass for Wise. Now Zola. Sinclair, Chelsea to the core. That could have gone either way, and it's gone against Mark Hughes for backing in.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle all day. Mark Hughes, tremendously strong. Well, you could say that maybe Jonsson's coming from behind there, but I think there's going to be a lot of 50-50 decisions in this match this afternoon. Hughes always looking to wriggle his bum and turn defenders, but he's so strong, whereas Jonsson, he'll be aware of that.
Offside again. Mark Hughes made a good point this week that he remembers Manchester United winning the Cup in 1990 to get Alex Ferguson off and running as far as trophies were concerned, and that all that has followed from that really was down to that, and that Chelsea now find themselves in a similar situation, having won the FA Cup with bags of ambition, plenty of money to support it, it seems. Can they go on and create a dynasty of their own?
Well, certainly a lot of Londoners feel that Chelsea can really challenge the likes of Liverpool, Man United and Arsenal this year. Consistency has always been a problem with them. But I think Ruud Gullit is building confidence. It seems a very, very happy camp. And as I said earlier, tremendous depth in the squad they have now.
Sheringham, maybe a little lucky. They just bounced up and ran off his foot to Cole. But Sheringham again. Lot of pace, trying to force it through the line of Chelsea defenders in the end. It bounced comfortably for De Goey.
It's Nicky Butt at his best there, Martin. When he goes forward, he's totally committed. And if it's 60-40 again, somehow he still makes it.
Well, it's not always easy for referees on the showpiece occasions at Wembley. They do have more and more of the letter of the law, the mandatory instructions to deal with. Chelsea have restarted the game, but they can't do that.
Well, as I was mentioning, Martin, this is going to go on all afternoon. And again, Hughes' strength, half showing Jonsson the ball, but then Jonsson committing himself, and I'm sure the referee made the right decision on that occasion.
And just talking to in the end to the guilty party.
In that game up at Old Trafford last season when Chelsea actually beat Manchester United, I watched the game and to be honest, they outpassed and outplayed United. And I'm sure Ruud Gullit would be telling them that. Get the ball moving. They've got so many comfortable people on the ball, but United at the moment are not allowing them.
Yes, we talked earlier about that remarkable record that Chelsea have at Old Trafford in the league. Just 2 defeats and 22 visits. And a 2-1 win last season. Since then there was a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. And Chelsea certainly have a case to regard themselves as something of a bogey side to Manchester United, although Manchester United, as I again said earlier, could point to the 4-0 FA Cup final win here in '94, and more recently that semi-final success.
Yeah, it's never nice to sit on the bench, is it? There's a man that's scored at Old Trafford, and it's never nice to sit on the bench, but especially at Wembley. He'll be itching to get on here.
Chelsea have been delighted, incidentally, with Vialli's attitude. He's not missed a day of pre-season training. Certainly wasn't the case last season, where there were times where one was never quite sure where he was, and maybe he wasn't sure where he was either. But he's keen to prove that he's got a part to play.
Well, that looks a nasty one, to be honest. There's Poyet just holding the ball up, and that's...
well, Keane's boot.
Just miscontrols it, and then Keane, well, that's more like Bruce Lee, isn't it? And I think Roy Keane, you know, he knows he's got a temperament problem. tremendous player, great engine, full of endeavour. He's a winner, but surely it's tackles like that, Martin, he really has to curb. Enthusiasm, yes, but I think that's taken it a bit too far.
Well, Alex Ferguson has handed him the captain's armband and said, really prove yourself to me that you're worthy of the office. And time will tell. We've all seen Roy Keane being more rash than anyone who loved the game would like, but we also all know what a tremendous player he is.
Yeah, I don't know if he can curb it, to be honest. I think it's all part of his makeup, Martin.
Di Matteo trying and challenging Morris, and Keane helped out. Giggs for Cole, the flag was up.
Well, once again, Chelsea pushing up very well. Andy Cole looks at the linesman as if to say no way, but I'm pretty certain he was offside there. But that's where United are so quick. Keane wins the ball ferociously, bang, and he gets there, passes the ball, Cole's on his way, and he did a slightly earlier pass, but Giggs just takes one touch too many. But this is where Chelsea are so good. It's risky, but this time it comes off.
But you do feel, from what we've seen so far, Alan, that it's not going to come off every time, is it? And that, well, here's Zola catching Manchester United a bit square, but he can't go on and finish the job, finish the chance, because Gary Pallister used the long legs first of all to make up the ground, and then to stretch to turn the ball away from the Italian.
Yeah, we see that again. Zola was a bit unlucky, just couldn't get out of his feet quick enough, Martin.
Keane. And again, Peter Jones has to step in. He's awarded United a free kick.
Yeah, Gary Pallister had to be his best there. But it's a beautiful little ball from Di Matteo. Zola, this is the touch, it goes high. He can't get away, but look at that for good defending. Zola, just a nod on, it bounces, but gives Pallister the chance with the long right foot stretch.
A keenly contested opening 20 minutes at Wembley for the Littlewoods FA Charity Shield. Wise, who had a hernia surgery in the summer. Cole. Now Di Matteo. Nothing to the left for Chelsea at the moment. Zola heading that way, and Granville making his move, but he had a very deep starting position. Scholes. Free infield of him in Manchester United. White, the window of opportunity, recognised by the commercial side of the club with the new strip today.
I think it's a very hungry Manchester United. The game, the tempo has certainly picked up.
But with this Chelsea diamond midfield and Keane and Scholes and Butt wanting to play in that part of the pitch as well, in a narrow field to some of the football, there are spaces in the wider positions. This Scholes found a moment or two ago.
Yeah, but Zola, when he's on the park, he really is a little wizard, and he can put balls through the eye of a needle. Just needs half a chance, a decent run, and he'll find a blue shirt.
Dennis Wise with the corner. That's Poyet, and he, let me tell you, is a real danger in the air.
Yeah, he came with big promise, and he's certainly impressed pre-season, but he rises beautifully here. Most of his goals come from aerial situations, and that's certainly going to be a great help to Chelsea this season, just looping over Schmeichel's bar.
Got a goal in the Umbro Cup, and I'm sure all the other Premiership clubs will be scouting Chelsea on this particular evidence as well. And there's another example of what Poyet can bring to Ruud Gullit's team. Zola. Now Wise. Granville's pass was nicely weighted for Zola, but in the end, did he keep it in? With the help of Hughes, yes is the answer. Schmeichel's quick throw, with the referee allowing the game to go on.
I think Teddy Sheringham has fitted in superbly well these opening 22 minutes. There we see him coming deep.
Well, that's the closest one so far. Flag is up.
I think they're going to catch Chelsea, there's no doubt about it. You know, you really have to be sure, but when it's as marginal as once or twice we've seen, Cole this time checking his run, and he is maybe a couple of inches offside there. Chelsea are living dangerously.
Wise. Manchester United are judged offside 6 times already. Well, we talked about how well Scholes played for England in the summer. Philip Neville comes into that category as well. Giggs, of course, finished last season on a bit of a low, missing the run-in through injury. He's out there today. Morris. 3 in the box for Chelsea. Hughes is one of them. The header was comfortable in the end for Peter Schmeichel, but Mark Hughes had isolated Dennis Irwin to jump against them.
Yes, a beautiful ball from young Morris. Hughesy getting above everything, flexing the old neck muscles, but this time straight Peter Schmeichel.
Swept forward almost arrogantly there by Leboeuf to Di Matteo. Zola, chased by Butt, but he gets the better of Nicky Butt. Can't lift it over Pallister's head.
I think Zola in the last 5 minutes is really getting involved now for Chelsea.
Granville. What elevation Danny Granville has had. He got a game as substitute in the Premiership against Arsenal around Easter time, shortly after his move from Cambridge, and the next thing he found himself with the England under-21 setup.
We actually watched the game, we covered the game for Sky Sports 3, and they were talking about Craddock, the centre-half. But I'll be honest with you, on that occasion, Granville was the one who took my eye, and Granville, you know, Rudhulit very quickly to move, and it's a dream come true. Here he is at Wembley.
Yes, I think it's true that Wyn Williams, the assistant manager, went to watch Craddock and ended up signing Granville.
Mind you, Peter Reid wasn't put off because he's just taken Craddock.
Yes.
He's also a very promising, he's more a centre-half. With this boy, he was more left foot and likes to get forward.
And this boy's left foot and likes to get forward as well. His name's Ryan Giggs.
We haven't really seen much of Giggs in the opening 25 minutes because Sinclair is playing them very, very close.
Sorry, Alan, a booking for Frank Sinclair.
Perhaps now, with Sinclair going in the referee's book, Giggs can get at him. So far, Ryan Giggs has been coming inside, but it is a late challenge. Neville going down. I don't think he's hurt, but Frank Sinclair now has to be very, very careful. It certainly was mistimed.
Chelsea, incidentally, got involved in a bit of a rough and tumble at Portsmouth last Wednesday, which ended with 1 or 2 of the Chelsea players being substituted for their own good. Frank Sinclair was one of those.
I think sometimes, Martin, it's because of such a great squad. Everyone, even in pre-season games, everyone is trying to impress manager Rudhulit. And when you've got such some great players sitting on the bench trying to get on, you really feel you have to prove yourself every game.
Chelsea started their preparations with a week away near Exmouth on Nigel Mansell's stately golf course with some wonderful footballing facilities. They had a wonderful time down there. No matches, just sheer preparation, and you do wonder about the mix after what's gone on over the last couple of weeks or so about playing games as opposed to doing the old pre-season things of running up hills and just slogging away day after day, but no contact.
I think no matter how much running or games both these sides have played in pre-season, there'll be a lot of tired legs at the end of this match.
Leboeuf nipping in. Runs for Wise. Mark Hughes always wanting it to feet rather than over the top, and of course he's so good at dealing with it, but not on that occasion. Giggs has gone through the middle this time. Manchester United just mixing it up a little bit. Keane. Ooh. That was this time misjudged. Dennis Wise picked up 11 yellow cards last season, and this is the first of the new campaign as far as proper matches are concerned.
Dennis looked a bit bemused there, didn't he? Bewildered. What? You're joking, ref? Not a yellow, but his left foot surely was too high there.
So 2 bookings in quick succession for Chelsea.
I think he's the type of player, Martin, Dennis Wise, that referees do look for, unfortunately. So he can't afford, you know, he was nowhere near the ball there, and the left leg, the left foot certainly was too high for the referee's liking. And that's what you don't want at the start of the season.
No hard feelings from Sheringham, and no lasting damage, more to the point. Sheringham wants the ball again and gets it from Giggs. Now Keane. Di Matteo slipping. There is some rain forecast for the North London area. Maybe even a thunderstorm or two. Very oppressive, the weather, and that will perhaps take its toll on the players as the afternoon wears on. 7 substitutes named under the regulations for this fixture, any 3 of whom can be used. Shape of Wise.
Well, Nicky Butt, we all know about how good he is, ferocious, competes, great engine, but as he gets older he is showing tremendous amounts of skill.
United working the short corner, knocked on by Sheringham, but just beyond the reach of Keane.
Yeah, just whipped in, looking for just a little flick on this. Flicked on by Sheringham, right to the far post, but too much.
Well, everyone's speculating at this time of year as to which club, if any, can match Manchester United over the months ahead. Chelsea have matched them for just over half an hour here in the Charity Shield. I tell you, there's no lessening of the appetite for success of Alex Ferguson.
I think what people forget as well, Martin, is United haven't been too active in the transfer market, but they've got abundance of cash should they need it. And Alex Ferguson only has to go to his board and they'll produce 10 or 15 million.
And Chelsea have a problem here from a bad kick from De Bruyne. He does a bit better the second time. Some neat control from Poyet. Pass aimed towards Mark Hughes. And with Di Matteo, we know about his shooting ability. Back for Hughes again. Manchester United keep him at bay, although Hughes has a lingering look at the referee.
Yeah, once again, Ronnie Johnson. Johnson, I think, is standing up well to Mark Hughes' presence.
Foul against Butt, who jumped in, and now Wise, who has been booked, gets involved in the aftermath of that.
He's very cheeky, Dennis Wise. That wasn't just a little case of we're okay, mate. That was a little slap in the back of the head. The referee's right, that is a free kick. But Dennis Wise, he does that once or twice, and I think sometimes too often. Good little player, fierce competitor.
Keane, talking of fierce competitors. Yeah, Wise and Butt tangling again.
A little one off the ball there. In fact, the referee was 2 yards away, but Butt didn't like that slap in the back of the head. I think we could see fireworks between them two later on, Martin.
Cole, there was a slip by Clark. Sheringham, but trying to spin beyond Granville, couldn't do it.
Certainly not overawed by this occasion, is he?
Owen. And again. Trying to take the outside route past Roberto Di Matteo. It's a free kick to United, and Ryan Giggs coming across to give them the left foot option if required. Pallister has strode forward. Owen takes it. Cole is there trying to set himself for a volley, but there was a bit of pushing and shoving in the centre that Peter Jones has spotted, and a free kick has been given to Chelsea, although Cole, for the life of him, can't see what it's for.
I'm not sure Andy Cole was involved in it, but the referee was very, very quick to blow his whistle. Cole was just shaping up for a right foot volley. How many times do you see that from players who mirror?
Poyet. Di Matteo. Hughes making the space for the run from centre to the left. Di Matteo didn't accelerate into the gap that had been caused by the intelligent work from the Welshman. And Pallister got the ball. It was lucky for him that he did. Giggs. Well, it was a difficult ball for Dupuy to deal with, played in behind the line of defenders. Andy Cole was really straining every sinew to try and get there first, but Dupuy dived out to snare it.
Yeah, that was a good break from United, and Sheringham again playing his part with an inch-perfect ball to Ryan Giggs. But De Hoy quickly off his line, but Giggs now beginning to come more and more into this match.
Scholes to Cole. Well, he was setting himself, it seemed, for a chip then. He is a very tall fellow to try and chip Ed Dupuy, and he wasn't very far off his line.
Yeah, Giggs, lovely ball. Great first touch from Scholes, and watch Cole trying to chip here, but De Hoy was only a yard or two off his line.
Granville, 10 minutes to go to half-time. Plenty of cut and thrust about the 1997 Charity Shield meeting between Chelsea and Manchester United. Wise. And Pallister thought he could get in front then, but the pass was a bit too clever for him. United have got plenty of players back, and Zola dwells on the ball, or is forced to dwell on it. Sinclair. Poyet up alongside Hughes in the centre. Morris trying to help Sinclair out, and he's done that. And he puts it into a useful area, but it drops between Poyet and Hughes into the grateful grasp of Schmeichel.
Yeah, he's not had a lot to do, so that'll give Schmeichel a bit of confidence. Good catch.
But behind Giggs, but it runs for Sheringham, and there's no flag. Certainly Sheringham looked in a good position.
I think Teddy just took that a little bit wide. We'll see it shortly. And Teddy Sheringham, I thought that was a little chance, but his first touch wasn't the best, and the chance went begging.
Di Matteo. Zola. Trying to do for Chelsea what Sheringham is doing for Manchester United. It's going to take a little while to get used to that, isn't it? Sheringham and Manchester United. Especially next Sunday. Here's Poyet at Chelsea. Just look back, Alan, at that last United attack.
Once again, Chelsea pushing up, and the ball eventually finds itself wide to Teddy. Let's have a look at this first touch. He takes it just slightly away for goal, and then decides I must drill it into the box. Not a glorious chance, Martin, but I thought that touch there, had he been into the box, instead of the acute angle he takes himself to, he might have tried a strike.
Well, Chelsea so far faring better than Newcastle did here a year ago. And so much was expected of the side then managed by Kevin Keegan, and then introducing Alan Shearer in black and white. Well, it's been a first half predominantly conducted in midfield. Keane, Sheringham. Chelsea, if anything, as those figures show, having slightly the attacking edge, but it's been pretty even Steven.
Yeah, I'd agree, Martin. It's certainly cat and mouse. You've got Sheringham drifting into nice positions. Zola, on the other hand, is looking more menacing for Chelsea.
Yes, it's those attackers getting it on the ball, but in midfield. That's giving us those figures that we've just shown you. Clark. Scholes losing possession in his own half, but Chelsea's initially squandering the chance to build from that, and then Giggs losing out. Manchester United have it back again. But
yeah, a little bit ragged now. A few passes going astray.
Cole. Giggs. But steaming forward in support of Andy Cole, and Sheringham is there to try and guide it down for Nicky Butt. That was a nicely constructed attack by Manchester United.
Yeah, it's a big part of Sheringham's game on that far post. Very, very good in the air, Teddy Sheringham.
Scholes, but as if the effort of that last run had taken something out of Butt. For once he was back on his heels. And striding forward confidently is Poyet. Di Matteo. Zola to his left. Mark Hughes starting to go near post. And Poyet, it was the first real sight of goal for either side. And Poyet didn't connect.
Yeah, that's certainly the best chance of the match. And the big Uruguayan, he knows, goodness me, it was a complete miskick when he tried to burst the net.
And he keeps running into those positions, he'll get goals in this country.
But what about the supplier again? Poyet knows he should have done better. But this is great play again from Zola. Good ball wide, Zola picks him out, fires it across, and there's the golden opportunity miss.
Here's Giggs.
Well, I reckon Man United, I think they've been told that this guy's not too clever in the air. He comes off his line because Ryan Giggs, again, trying a chip. And I don't understand why, because this fella's a big, big goalkeeper, the Dutchman. But a good sweeping run from Giggs. The ball comes back to him, suddenly has a little look and thinks, right, I'm going to try the clever one.
Poyet flicking it on, not knowing too much about it. Scholes. Here's Keane with a moment or two to have a look round, and he spotted Phil Neville. Chelsea defending well as a unit. They have at times slightly changed the shape of the midfield, with Wise moving to a more central position and Morris on the right-hand side. Wasn't the way they began.
I certainly think Chelsea have come a long way, Martin. There's no doubt about it. They look more solid. And then the people like Zola, who, you know, we know what he can do. He's fantastic. Di Matteo, the strength of Hughes. They really are getting a really strong side.
But this is Manchester United on the move, and Cole trying to steer it across for Ryan Giggs.
A good play from Leboeuf again. He reads the game so well.
Neville. Gets it back from Keane. And quickly, Frank Sinclair, you mentioned the Chelsea squad, and think about the players who aren't involved today, like Babayaro, the young Nigerian. He's already got an Olympic gold medal at football and has won the Belgian Championship with his previous club Anderlecht. He's still a teenager. And Tore Andre Flo is with the Chelsea party today, the striker from Norway. That'll be a free kick.
Sheringham shaking his head there, Martin. I think he's right. He should shake his hand. But maybe we might see this in a minute. I think Clark runs into Sheringham here. Sheringham makes a run. Clark's now coming back. Runs right across Sheringham. Yeah, Teddy Sheringham's left arm is up.
Oh, and now Sheringham was put. And then Wise stepped in as well, and Sheringham, I wonder whether the referee's going to take action for the second incident as well. Is Sheringham going to be in really serious trouble here?
Dennis Wise, we all know what he's like. He gets involved sometimes when he shouldn't do.
Well, he's involved there again.
And that's just stupid from Dennis Wise.
Well, while Peter Jones was showing Sheringham the yellow card, presumably for what he saw was an arm raised in challenging Steve Clarke, Sheringham was involved with Wise. They're still involved again.
I think this all stems from, well, it does. Now watch Clarke run towards Sheringham. He's not looking at the ball, Clarke.
Yeah, but look at the arm from Sheringham. Yeah. That's what the referee has reacted to.
Yeah.
Well, Sheringham is still on the pitch, and I genuinely wondered whether he was going to be sent off in the Charity Shield.
I agree, Martin. The arm was up, but Clarke made no attempt to go for the ball. He ran right towards Sheringham, away from the ball.
But what happened after that, Alan? With sheer stupidity from a number of players, and Peter Jones here has got to make sure he retains a grip on proceedings, and maybe half-time is going to come about the right time and let things settle down a bit.
Well, certainly, it's meant to be a showpiece, isn't it? But I knew before the game, Martin, between these two sides, the young pretenders, if you like, Chelsea, yes, we're going to sort Man United out this year. United with a pride, it was never going to be a friendly.
Irwin. Well, it's certainly been a first half of few chances, but it's been a first half with some flashpoints as well. Irwin. Cole keeping it alive for Roy Keane, not quite. Wise got his foot to it. And now Irwin is offside. He was in a very good position for the cross, and that looked some concern for Chelsea fans then, as Manchester United had players well placed in the centre.
Well, certainly Teddy Sheringham, he's very much been involved in this match, hasn't he? It's not been a quiet debut here at Wembley in his famous, well, the new Man United shirt. But yeah, you're right, Martin, his elbow was up, but I can't help thinking Steve Clarke made no intention of going near the ball. He wanted to block Sheringham's run.
But defenders always do that, don't they? Well, it's certainly something for Steve Bruce and Steve Archibald with Richard to talk about at half-time.
Well, Bruce is certainly going to take Clarke's side of it,
absolutely. And half-time is shortly upon us. Great ball by Giggs for Sheringham.
That's a big chance, Martin. And some people have said, well, Teddy, his lack of pace sometimes stops him being world class. He gets a yard here, but Clarke and LeBeuf comes over. Clarke gets the foot in there, and he just can't get away from them. Great 1-2. Sheringham's first touch is good, but look at Clarke and LeBeuf getting back to put Teddy Sheringham off. Good chance from Teddy, tries with the outside of the right foot, but the presence of two Chelsea defenders puts them straight off.
Well, the first half going on deep into stoppage time. But it was a pass played in behind Chelsea, who have looked a little vulnerable when they've played as a four, pushing up. Before that Sheringham opportunity, Chelsea had their one real opening of the half with a move that was put together very well, and Poyet coming in unmarked really should have made more of that. And Sheringham had made an early chance for Paul Scholes, then put this one wide at the end of a first half on a steamy Wembley afternoon, which has had some steamy moments, some loss of control of the play.
Don't want to be getting a red card right at the start of the season. He's very fiery, we all know that. Yeah, I just wish he'd stop getting involved when it's nothing to do with him. He always wants to support his fellow players. And when Steve Clarke went down, immediately Wise was on the spot. But I'd love him to get rid of that part of his game, because he is a quality player.
And when you meet him off the pitch, he's a delightful chap as well, but out in the heat of battle, well, sometimes he has been known to lose the plot. Well, Petrescu looks as though he's come on to play on the right of midfield ahead of Frank Sinclair. And Manchester United start the second half of a season that has begun a little earlier for everyone because of the World Cup finals in France next summer.
I think Ruud Gullit has done the right thing, staying with the flat back four. The simple fact is, with the way Sheringham plays, he drops off, and sometimes Andy Cole's all alone up front. There's no point having three centre-halves marking one.
Good hold-up play by Hughes. So no goals and not too many chances, but a real sense of competition between the league champions and the FA Cup holders. We did have a little taste of the rain that's been forecast at half-time. Not really enough to truly slick the surface as yet. Keane. Sheringham's just running in behind Granville, and Owen had the chance to play the ball to him but declined to take it, so Sheringham comes and gets it for himself. Keane. Now Butt finding some acceleration in an important part of the pitch and giving Chelsea a real problem because it is a free kick despite the protestations of Clarke.
I don't think there's not much difference between a free kick there and a corner, but I think Clarke certainly gets the last touch, and he certainly took Nicky Butt first with his right leg, then his left leg knocked the ball out. I think the referee was spot on.
Well, what can Manchester United come up with here in the early moments of the second half? Giggs and Owen doing the plotting. Giggs takes it. Well placed to get a strong header to it. Teased back in by Scholes. United trying to keep the pressure on. Pallister. Chelsea closing down the flow in possession with commendable gusto, even though it was clearly a free kick against them.
And once again, Clarke and the booth just pushing out. And when Chelsea centre defenders push out like that, it really makes the pass to the forward player, which was Andy Cole, very difficult. It has to be inch perfect. Now and again they're going to get caught, but at the moment they're persevering with this pushing out quickly.
Well, De Goey not taking the goal kick there. Leboeuf entrusted with the duties. Chelsea have had to chop and change their goalkeepers under Gullit. I think De Goey is the sixth one that's been used in the senior side in a year. Grodós played in the cup final. He's not even on the bench today. It's Kevin Hitchcock who gets the backup duties for the Charity Shield, because Grodós is actually suspended for the opening week of the Premiership because of a sending off on the last day of last season. Poyet trying to get it forward, a bit unlucky there for Zola, and he knows it.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this understanding between Zola and Poyet, both looking to feed each other as quickly as possible. I think they're going to be a big threat. A lot of team spirit there between them already.
Never. Cut out by Petrescu, the substitute. Zola getting the better of Keane cleverly. Oh, Schmeichel had to make a save, and he was taken by surprise.
Well, Peter's not had a lot to do, has he? But this little man is magic. There's no doubt about it. The more I see him, he's just whipped it past Keane there, fires it across the goal, and Schmeichel had to get that left hand down rather quickly. Could have sneaked in, maybe just going the other side of the post.
Kept in by Giggs. Ruud Gullit, though, very pleased with Chelsea's progress. Remember, it's their first major piece of silverware since 1971, the FA Cup. But he feels that they can do even better if they cut out individual errors, which he saw as haunting their progress in the Premiership last season. They did finish 6th.
Well, London have certainly got a chance this season. You know, the emergence of Chelsea and Arsenal look very strong too, so it's going to be a very interesting Premiership.
The London clubs always point out, of course, that they play so many derbies that it's that much harder for them to win the title.
If you believe that one, Martin, I'm signing for Inter Milan tomorrow.
Here's Sheringham. That was a thing or two about London derbies. Forward quickly by Leboeuf. He had to play it because of the nature of the pass by Di Matteo. Here's Petrescu. Sinclair on the gallop outside it. Chelsea have got 3 in the centre as well. Petrescu's cross, and it's just too high for a flagged offside. Poyet.
I think now Chelsea, especially with this man on the ball, very clever, Dan Petrescu, likes to thread little passes, but suddenly Poyet's on the scene. And I'm sure Ruud Gullit has explained that he's very, very dangerous and strong in there. This time just drifting into an offside position, but it gives Chelsea another string to the bow, if you like. Very dangerous in the air. Some Chelsea players did get a sighting of him in the Cup Winners' Cup when they played Zaragoza, lost to the Spanish club, who then went on to beat Arsenal in the final in Paris. Hughes wanted to throw it quickly if there was someone on the same wavelength as him. Petrescu tried to get there. Back to Schmeichel by Keane, who I'm not sure whether he was playing it back to Keane, but he got it. I don't think that 1-2 was meant. No. Good pressure by one, number 11 on the other. Dinks on Wise. Manchester United having to work hard at the moment as Chelsea come out sparking for the second half. Clark. Wise. More good work from Zola. And this is Granville onside. Poyet's in the middle, but Pallister gets there before him, and he had to for Manchester United. Yeah, Danny Granville suddenly found himself in a tremendous position, and Pallister was chasing like mad to get back. Again, magic from Zola. Granville now, Poyet's in the middle, and just can't beat Pallister. Big chance for Chelsea, round the back, whips it in, but Pallister doing his job. In comes the whipped-in corner. Hughes! Mark Hughes does it against Manchester United in the 8th minute of the second half. A splendid set piece if you're a Chelsea fan, but Alex Ferguson will be furious with his side's defending. Well, my first impression here is Peter Schmeichel. I'd like to see it again, but I think this ball whips in and beats Schmeichel. Hughes lurking at the far post from perhaps 2 yards out. Schmeichel back on his heels is too late. I think the keeper can come for that. And Hughes, great finish from Mark Hughes against his old club. Great flighted ball. Where's Schmeichel? 2 yards out. The ball's in the back of the net. Well, the great Wembley warrior gets another goal in the famous stadium. And one that he'll really savour, especially if it leads Chelsea to securing the Charity Shield at the expense of Manchester United. And that was very sturdy, to say the least, by Johnson on Mark Hughes. Peter Jones says play on. Giggs races on past Leboeuf. That's just what we wanted, Martin. We wanted a fairly early goal. Chelsea have got it. Now watch United come back at them. Neville. Scholes. And actually Sinclair didn't need to play that, but he presumably needed to be told. And it is a corner that Chelsea will feel that perhaps they shouldn't have conceded. Having scored from a corner kick, will now try to make sure that Manchester United don't equalise from a similar situation. Johnson coming late, and it will reach him, perhaps by the intended route.
He's crossed it very well. Dahoui thrust up an arm as Andy Cole went in.
Well, the big Dutchman had to be brave there, and he had to make the punch. And this time he gets it. This is a beautiful cross from a difficult position. Left-hand punch on it, and just does enough.
But wide by Scholes to Irwin. Plenty of white shirts in the Chelsea penalty area. Sheringham was actually just making a bit of space for himself that he wasn't entitled to.
Well, he can make a name for himself yet again, Terry, if he was to get an equaliser for his side. And wonderful to see him playing a little bit more forward. Jumping in, I think it's a bit of 50-50 there. Gets the flick on, and I can't see anything wrong with that.
Johnson's header. Scholes, though, can only play it out of play.
Great noise here from the Chelsea fans now, Martin.
They do have support that's often said in the capital that rivals the boisterousness of the northern fans. Sometimes followers a little bit more reserved down south, but you wouldn't say that around Stamford Bridge on match days. And certainly not at Wembley on this particular afternoon. They lead Manchester United by a Mark Hughes goal to 0. But they've got a problem here because Sheringham's on the ball well forward. Giggs. Cole, time to take a touch. Glanced away by Leboeuf. Sort of response that you expect from Manchester United. And Roy Keane can't get it through the crowd. Sheringham tries his luck. Deflects away off Granville for a United corner.
Yeah, United beginning to push away. Granville, a little wink of the left eye there. No problem, had it covered. But now United trying to up the tempo against this Chelsea side.
Gary Palace to remember those goals. So vital in the title shakedown at Anfield. That's Johnson! Another corner. An equaliser for Manchester United, and Ronnie Johnson has brought them level at Wembley.
It's a good wet corner. Johnson rises above, great header. Down, skidders off the wet turf and into the top corner. That's a great header. Honestly felt United had the advantage in the air, and now they're proving the point. Downward header. Dahoui can't keep it out. And 1-1.
Well, they have hit back in characteristic fashion with Ronnie Johnson's first goal for the club. Not too much made in the way of chances from open play, but inside, what, 12 minutes of the second half, 2 restarts, a goal apiece.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be tight, Martin, because Chelsea are very strong in midfield, United are strong in midfield, and set pieces might just win this match yet. It's always going to be condensed and difficult in there. Zola's been outstanding, but 2 set pieces, will we get a winning goal?
Zola, now Di Matteo, bowled over by Keane, who was beginning to be fretful then, and with some justification. Di Matteo had plenty of space to take the ball into.
Roy Keane late here. Just, well, there was nothing dangerous. I think Di Matteo has made a little bit of it, but this is Zola country now. Big chance to show us his skill at free kicks, and Keane is desperately angry.
Well, Manchester United set up their defences. Peter Schmeichel has a look at where the wall is and takes up a central position. There are few better in the world anywhere in this sort of situation than Gianfranco Zola. but not this time. Well, he knows that for him it's a chance.
Oh, without a doubt. This man spends so much time in the training ground and he just doesn't get the dip on the ball. Much to the delight of the United fans, but Zola, he's a quality act and he knows he should have done better.
Keane. Still half an hour to go. Poyet was a bit fortunate it got to Mark Hughes, but he kept his forward momentum going, as Chelsea do with Sinclair.
You know, Mark Hughes, he looks as hungry as ever, doesn't he? There was talk maybe last season of Mark departing from Stamford Bridge. Not a chance now. He's a darling of the fans. So hungry for success, so strong.
Well, I watched Chelsea train yesterday morning, and maybe one or two older pros, even with a game like this coming up, might just take it easy. He was as competitive as anyone, and was a credit to his profession, which he's been from the moment he broke into Manchester United's side as a youngster, when Ron Atkinson gave him his chance. Neville, from the current crop of youngsters. Giggs. I think they're wanting to let it run. They're able to do so despite Neville's efforts.
Yeah, the big Dutch goalkeeper, he's a little bit unlucky. It was a great downward header. He actually got his right hand to it, De Huey, but he just couldn't keep it out. Maybe that little bit of drizzle, Martin, on the turf, just give it an extra zip away from him.
Well, I know Andy Gray, who's finishing his holidays off over the next few days, is watching, and he might want me to point out that there was no one on the post. But it was one of those awkward positions where it was just in from the post. Even if you are guarding it, a header of that momentum would be difficult to stop. We saw that Phil Neville was guarding the post as Mark Hughes batted him, but he had no chance.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, on reflection, I might have been a bit harsh on Schmeichel, but you know, it wasn't too far out, and it was a great ball, whipped in by Zola.
That's absolutely true. It was a fantastic ball. And it bamboozled a great goalkeeper. Zola, but that lead has been lost by Chelsea. Scholes. Just getting the better of Pallister and getting involved again in the move. And Zola, rarely for him, completely miskicking the attempted pass. Well, this is a true moment to treasure for Ronnie Johnson.
Yeah, he's got to be very happy with this. Over LeBouf's head, heads it down, textbook stuff, and De Huey can't keep it out. Rises above, perfect header down, get in.
Oh, LeBouf just stretched and got a knee to it then. United had runners either side of him. Sheringham. Well, Sinclair gave that tackle the kitchen sink and all.
Yeah, Phil Neville says, thanks, Teddy, for that one. Because he is built like the proverbial. Look at the size of him. Bang. Great challenge from the fullback.
Such great fun. Claiming that Hughes has been tugging at his shirt, which I'm sure he was doing. But Pallister would have expected that.
I'm sure Gary woke up this morning and thought, here we go again, Hughesy. But I think Pallister's battled well. There was a doubt whether he'd play or not, Martin, but he certainly looks fit enough to me.
Yes, it's a question of how many games Gary Pallister can play in a season, how regularly he can get himself to peak fitness.
Never looks happy with himself, Gary Pallister, though. He's always sort of frowning and whinging and moaning. But in saying that, I think he's a top quality player. I like his leadership, very strong in the air, and when he brings the ball out, He's a quality that United certainly need.
You can't know that Steve Bruce is in the studio, can he? Otherwise he'd be having a chat up to him as well. Trying to do is defending on the left-hand side of United's midfield, but the ball just scraping his head and dropping for Petrescu. Zola, that was artistic in its work there. And this is Wise. Shot hit Johnson. Sinclair. Plenty in the centre for Chelsea. And more will arrive because they've got a corner. 20 minutes of the second half gone.
Yeah, never would have clearance there, but once again it was Zola. Beautiful touch from Franco Zola. And then Wise trying the strike, and Nicky Butt was snapping away. Maybe a little late challenge there, so let's hope that one cools down. But this guy here is very special, Zola.
Well, it's been a tale of two corners so far. Zola, and that goes beyond the pack, attacker and defender.
So accurate from dead balls, or just in free play there. Again, Schmeichel was beginning to come for it and had to stop because he's curled it right to the far post.
There's so many of these Manchester United players, veterans of Charity Shield occasions. It's the fourth for Peter Schmeichel, and they are used to winning. They have done it in recent times via a penalty shootout, which might become relevant this afternoon. That was in '93 after a 1-1 draw with the London club Arsenal. But who missed out on the tournoi in France because of injury at a late stage. The official attendance has reached us, which is just a little short of the 76,000 anticipated, but in fact the Wembley authorities informing us that 76,000 tickets were sold, and maybe a couple of thousand fans have changed their holiday plans at the last minute and haven't been able to get here.
Just feel United now. It's one or two players are not performing. Paul Scholes' last 20 minutes has gone very quiet, Martin. You know, a smashing player at the moment. He's struggling to get into the second half.
Sinclair. Zola, Petrescu, and Sinclair again. Moving forward for Chelsea, who have not been crestfallen at losing their lead, but now have to cope with a Manchester United counter-attack. And of course that has been a real feature of what Alex Ferguson has achieved for a succession of teams. And keeping going here with a real sweeping feel to the football again. Oh, and Scholes! It was a snap chance, really. It had to be taken straight away. Couldn't have expected the ball to come.
Well, just what I was saying, he's been very quiet for 20. Lovely ball out to Keane. He doesn't admire it, he gets back in the box. The ball eventually comes to him, and normally Scholes would hit the target there. On the left foot, comes unexpectedly, but normally he's so deadly from there.
Against Poyet. Sheringham. Owen. For Sheringham again. Well, there are two in there going for the same ball, Butt and Cole, and in the end there were two for Chelsea going for it. Tahui and Sinclair, who got there bravely. Defenders, first principle really, get the ball away whatever the price, and the price there is a bang in the stomach for Frank Sinclair.
This is where Sheringham's so good. He is a link player, but look, United have got 3 against 1 in there. There's Butts, there's Cole and there's Giggs, and Sinclair takes a knock for his troubles. But brave defending, but Tahui, I think it's the right knee right in the stomach area. I think that's where Sheringham's so good, Martin. You know, he drifts off, he's got a great first touch, he's always involved in the link-up play, and when there's a chance to get it in the box, he doesn't dally. Right foot dink in for a cross there. He's a very clever player. I think he's going to have a big future with United.
Well, having had attention on the pitch, Sinclair has to go off for the moment. Allowed to come back on. Well, Peter Jones has waved him back. Now the ball's gone out of play. Back comes Frank Sinclair.
The Chelsea fans didn't like it. New contract for Sinclair, playing with a lot of vigour and energy.
It hasn't been a match littered with substitutions, which sometimes can disturb the flow. But now Manchester United decide there should be some movement on the bench. And Jordi Cruyff and David Beckham getting ready to have an involvement in the last 19 minutes or so. This is Cole. And to squeeze it back to Sheringham, who may well be one of the players to be replaced.
Well, he's proved enough to me. Should Sheringham come off, Martin, he's proved enough to me that he's going to fit into this United side. I'm certain of that.
Oh dear, they've left the H out of David Beckham's name. I would have thought his credentials would have guaranteed a correct spelling. Petrescu, who's going to be first to this? Well, for Manchester United it was Nicky Butt, and now the two substitutes could well come on. Jordi Cruyff, who's impressed in the pre-season games and is hoping to do rather better in his second season at Old Trafford than he did in his first, although he scored in his first 2 games at home and indeed scored in the last game of the league campaign against West Ham. Ryan Giggs doesn't seem to be too happy about being replaced.
No, it's a problem, Martin. You get so many stars in a squad, and really no one wants to come off at Wembley, even though it's a friendly, the Charity Shield. But the United fans are absolutely applauding the contribution of Sheringham and Giggs. But
well, David Beckham scored in the Charity Shield against Newcastle a year ago. Remember then, he was still a week away from that wonder goal. He hadn't played for England, and of course I should imagine he knew a little less about female bands. But he's very much a national figure now.
Well, there was also Matt Hughes a little bit, over anxious there for that challenge. I think that was certainly a free kick. But Jordi Cruyff, a lot of noises were coming from Man United of Jordi Cruyff's contribution over the pre-season. Could have gone to Spain or to Holland, decided to stay with United, and I think he's going to be really fighting for a place. There's no doubt about it, this guy's got great talent.
Yes, he will tell you that he found it hard to adjust to the physical side of English football. And he knows what it's about now, and that's the acid test really for him.
And also it's very difficult, Martin. He's always going to be compared against one of the greatest players in the world, his father Johan, which is sometimes very difficult to deal with.
What about you? You were named after the World Cup winners.
Yeah, and I couldn't live up to that.
Here's Butt. 15 minutes away from a penalty decider at Wembley. unless either side can fashion a winning goal. David Beckham, who was late back, given extra time to rest after the England duties. Scholes, Beckham wanting to impress.
Yeah, he just tried to tuck it in between the goalkeeper and Frank Leboeuf, just a little bit too close to De Hoy.
Orange, Michael came and slipped. Hughes was looking at the referee again as Pallister got the better of him. Oh, Pallister's limping now. David May on Manchester United's casualty list, along with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Here's Cruyff. Strong challenge by Clark on Cole. Zola had a look round before the ball came to see how much time he had, and he had enough to take extra touches.
The great players do that, Martin. They're always aware before the ball comes to them what's around them.
Wise. Petrescu really stretched to keep it in. Roy Keane read it very well. Cruyff. The two substitutes in harmony here. Beckham. Scholes wants it quickly through the centre. Beckham goes for the glory himself.
Paul Scholes has certainly he'd taken up a great position, but David Beckham, good vision here from Cruyff. He had two players, but Beckham decides, I'm having this handy. Scholes has made a run inside him, but he gets it on that right foot, and that's just a bit too high. Just can't keep it down enough, very accurate, and that had De Goey flying across his goal.
Well, one wondered when Vialli came on in the FA Cup final whether we'd ever see him in a Chelsea shirt again, but he's knuckled down to fight for his place, and as we mentioned at the start of the game, has worked really hard over the last 3 weeks or so, done absolutely everything the club have asked of him, and hopes for the opportunity to show what he can do even at the age of 33, and even with either Hughes or Zola, one assumes, to displace, although there were times last season when all three started.
Well, he might not be as quick and as fit as he used to be, Martin, but he makes tremendous, intelligent runs, and Zola will find them.
So foul by Di Matteo, and we may yet see Ruud Gullit. Chelsea players on the pitch have to deal with Beckham's free kick. Roy Keane rising, coming round the back, but that flash showed anything could have happened. It was certainly a deflection. Whether Peter Jones saw it as a deflection off a United player.
Well, Gullit, sorry, not Gullit. He definitely, Keane had made a lovely spin to the far post, couldn't get enough on it, but Cole just needed any sort of touch on that. A back heel, and that could have flown in the top corner. Just about to sit there with Gullit warming up. There's no way he's going to sit back down the bench. I think he'll certainly be coming on. And I'm sure he'll get tremendous reception from the Chelsea fans.
Beckham. Right in front of Ruud Gullit there. Scholes. Wanting the ball played quickly to his feet, but Buck decided to take a different route. Irwin stuck out a leg to good effect and used the ball early. Forwards love that, and Vialli, no exception. And again, Roy Keane reading the play so well. If they do get very short of central defenders, of course, he could get in there and do a magnificent job.
Well, I was reading one of the newspapers today that says Ron Atkinson was saying that Roy Keane one day could be one of the world's best centre-backs. But he reads it so well.
Scholes finding Neville. Looking for Cole. Phil Neville going in. Well, it was a bit speculative, but it wasn't too far away from Jordi Cruyff.
Just wonder if Chelsea are beginning to run out a little bit of steam. United seem to be playing more in the Chelsea half.
McAllister. Now Butt. Price wanting the ball, but Butt taking a different viewpoint. Oh, Price, who's quite useful in the air, just found that a little too high for him.
Great play for Irvine, but just slightly too high with the final ball.
Vialli for Petrescu. Wise keeping him company. Poyet giving it to Wise. Chelsea really with nowhere to go at the moment. Sinclair. And a great part of Ruud Gullit's training is just playing small-sided games, getting the players to keep possession and draw fouls like that. Be patient.
Well, Beckham just a moment earlier had a little clip at Wise's heels, but this time catching him. So obviously there's been a little bit of chit-chat out there. But David Beckham, you don't normally see David Beckham doing that, so very upset at what went on in the first half, I believe.
And Beckham finding the space. Manchester United have got 3 players keeping him company in this attack. Reich having to just check out to control the pass that was a little behind him, really, for the Dutchman's liking. But Keane. Scholes, but watched by Wise. Manville, that's rather given away, despite the challenge from Petrescu. Cruyff, it'll run for Nicky Butt. Well, he's hooked it back, but really the chance was his.
Yeah, Nicky Butt, he knows, all he had to do was take it with his right foot. Unfortunately, the control let him down.
And the pass letting Poyet down as he tried to thread it through for Zola. But both sides looking to win this without the need of penalties. Neville. Now Cole for Scholes! Lovely link up. And Paul Scholes with all the self-belief that you need to strike a ball like that.
Jordi Cruyff beautifully with outside the right foot, and Scholes didn't have any other ideas. He thought, right, I'm hitting this. And unfortunately for the little fella, the right foot volley, well, we couldn't hit the target.
But I must say, Alan, if you'd seen this as a Premiership game, you wouldn't have felt shortchanged, would you?
No, I didn't think it would be, Martin, to be honest. You know, Chelsea are desperate, you know, to prove to everybody, hey, it wasn't a fluke, the FA Cup. And what a better chance than to play against the champions at Wembley to say, hey, we're in with a shout this year of the Premier League. I just feel United are beginning to get on top. I think they look more likely to push forward and get this winning goal.
Keane, but Price, nice turn, but the shot was blocked almost before it was released as Sinclair saw the danger signs and responded to them.
Yeah, Sinclair's defended very well here. Cruyff, lovely bit of skill, but look at Sinclair on his toes and gets over quickly.
And all the while, Ruud Gullit watching and presumably wondering whether, if he brings himself on, will it just upset the apple cart. But Chelsea, good value for the 1-1 situation. Ed De Goey, who doesn't look the most commanding on the cross ball. Beckham opting to punch. And now Chelsea can break here with Zola. Vialli already up with it. Petrescu trying to get there down the right-hand side. Still Zola going on.
I tell you what, Martin, Roy Keane made 60 yards getting back there. Unbelievable run. Keane was in the opposition's box and still got back to take the ball off Zola.
Petrescu. Manchester United have been able to regroup, and in the end it's safe and simple for Peter Schmeichel. Beckham. Oh, and Leboeuf was rash. Cruyff was very composed until it came to the pass. He could have put Beckham in there.
Now he's unlucky there. Beckham, lovely give and goal. And Cruyff had to evade the tackle of Leboeuf, and in doing so was rushed into the pass. A great sweeping move again from Manchester.
Sinclair. Petrescu. Oh, and Poyet trying the dummy. United alive to that. Beckham. Putting it in early, but straight at Steve Clark. And the play spread at the moment. And a chance for Chelsea to use the room to their advantage with Wise and Vialli. He could have done with a better ball though.
Yeah, well, there's no complaining, there's no whinging. Vialli, when he makes his runs, he wants the ball. And now and again, they go astray. Dennis Wise apologising. But Vialli won't mind that, as long as they're looking for his runs.
Beckham. Well, even though there've been some high-profile games, particularly for Manchester United in the last couple of weeks, the players won't have had anything quite as competitive as the 85 minutes here, and one or two beginning to show understandable signs of wear and tear, and the stamina is not quite in the order it will be in the middle of the season. Di Matteo, there's Vialli trying one of those foxy runs again, but he is adjudged to be offside.
Yeah, he's got a lovely knack of, this time it didn't work, but he makes his run, then he bends it back again to try and fox the defenders. But he's so hungry and eager for the ball, and had the ball been played slightly earlier...
Well, he was onside, wasn't he?
You know, Pallister's, no doubt about it, is lucky there.
Yeah.
Just there, Pallister's slightly in front, you can tell by the line on the pitch, and their ball is played, and there's certainly no offside.
Cole. Neville. Well read by Roberto Di Matteo. Zola. Vialli waiting far post. And Wise trying to force his way between the two. Oh, and it comes back to Dennis Wise again. Out comes Schmeichel. Ball still not grasped. The goalkeeper gives Wise a playful kick on the backside, and I stress that was very playful. No shades of Ian Wright and previous incidents then.
We'll see that again, Martin, because that could have been close to a pen. There's no doubt Wise was about to let fly when he was tackled.
Poyet. Now Zola. Trying to tease Phil Neville. Now Petrescu. Trying to tease Schmeichel.
Well, they went to the far corner, Petrescu, on his left foot, but it's got to be a good strike to beat this man.
Right. Well, it's often been the case for Chelsea that against the big opponent, they've raised their game. But week in, week out, the results haven't been as reliable. Ruud Gullit believes he's on the way to improving that. The league positioning showed that the team led by Dennis Wise.
I just wonder, Martin, do you think they played for a penalty? Because
the first one
just
here.
about to get this on his, and there's a challenge, and sometimes they're given, sometimes they're not. Then he bounces back up, and Schmeichel has to be very quick here.
Well, that wasn't a penalty, was it?
Certainly not, certainly not. It was the first one I was talking about.
Key. Beckham, but by Frank Levert.
The Chelsea fans don't like it, but there's no doubt about it. That's a free kick, surely. But on the ball, there's a challenge. Whack! I'll leave it out. It's got to be a free kick, surely.
Frank Levert was a little on the late side. And the card was shown there. It seemed, was it to Dan Petrescu or Levert for the foul? Petrescu was saying something.
I think maybe he's a little bit unlucky if he was booked, Martin, but I think it was certainly a free kick. Now, is it a case of have a look at this, boss?
Chelsea have Zola, Manchester United have David Beckham, with a similar flair for the spectacular and the tremendous technique to strike a dead ball. So here goes Beckham in the final moments, but he can't get it over the wall. Leboeuf, who gave away the free kick, takes away some of the danger to Chelsea. Vialli, the time for Chelsea, who scored so early in the FA Cup final, to score so late here, but Zola is offside. And,
well, he doesn't think so, Martin. Beautiful run from Zola. So often the playmaker. This time, now look, there's a step up, and that is easily onside. And I'm afraid the linesman's having a bad time these last few minutes. That is certainly onside, but Zola decides to take it, you know, knock it past Schmeichel. Doesn't hit the target, but very unhappy with the offside decision.
in defence of Alan Kay here, it is one of the hardest things to work out, and I know at their conferences that the officials have throughout the season on a regular basis, they're coming up with all sorts of ways to try and improve the calling of decisions just like that one, which denied Zola maybe a winning goal, which Chelsea is still looking for here with Poyet. Beckham happy to boot it away. And Petrescu booked for dissent a moment or two ago.
I think if it stays a draw, Martin, it's been a fair result.
And it has. And Chelsea have matched Manchester United over 90 minutes in the Charity Shield, and they needed to come from behind to do that with Ronnie Jonsson's equaliser. Both sides scoring in the early minutes of the second half. A quick corner that was then whipped in by Gianfranco Zola onto the grateful head of Mark Hughes had given Chelsea the lead. But Ronnie Jonsson's first competitive goal for the club, and we go to penalties at Wembley. Both sides have had the opportunity to take penalties. We didn't see Hullet in the end, did we, as a player? Both sides have had the opportunities in the last couple of weeks to be involved in penalty shootouts. For Alex Ferguson, it took place in the San Siro when they take place.
I think this fella, 1-1, to beat 1-1, I have to go back to Peter Shilton for someone who was so difficult to beat 1-1.
Well, first up for Chelsea is the player who was first up for them in the Umbro Cup shootout against Newcastle, and that's Frank Sinclair. So the 1997 Charity Shield to be decided on penalties. Sinclair to take on Schmeichel, and the might of the Manchester United fans. And Schmeichel has saved it. First blood for the champions.
Yeah, poor Frank Sinclair, he's played so well in this match. Thank goodness it's a friendly, but right foot. Look at the movement from Schmeichel. He makes himself so big. Great block, but watch how he bounces up. It doesn't matter, but he bounced up so quickly. He's a top goalkeeper.
Well, Ed Dafoe, who saved those three up at Goodison Park recently in identical circumstances, and he balanced it out now at the expense of Paul Scholes. With delaying tactics from Schmeichel outside of the penalty area, outside your shot. Here goes Scholes, and Manchester United lead by 1 penalty to 0.
You wouldn't really fancy Paul Scholes with a big smile to miss this, would you? The Hui goes the wrong way, and Scholes, you'd often see him smiling, but that brought a grin to his face.
I say delaying tactics from Schmeichel. I'm sure he wasn't trying to put off Scholes, obviously, but he was being ordered out of the penalty area and didn't seem too keen to go.
Well, I think the booze for Zola is out of appreciation from the Man United fans. What a player.
Well, this is some contest, isn't it? Zola and Schmeichel.
Look at Schmeichel. I tell you what, he drives you mad. Gamesmanship, delaying tactics.
Yes, if he lived in Utopia, he'd find something wrong with it. Zola scores. Nothing wrong with his penalty.
Well, Schmeichel was jinking to the right, to the left. Zola just kept his eye on the ball. He said, I don't care if you go the right way, it's power for me.
Well, Dennis Irwin, who did fail in the shootout 4 years ago, not so abashed by that as to duck out this time. He's taken plenty of penalties in his time. And that one is right in the bottom corner beyond Defoe's dive. 2-1 to Manchester United.
Yeah, I promise you, Martin, before he steps up here, he'd remember that penalty miss, but that's just wiped it clear off his memory. Lovely penalty.
So Chelsea 1 down with 2 apiece taken. Di Matteo, who found this particular net in such startling fashion at the start of the cup final, doesn't find it this time. Schmeichel takes all the credit, but it was a miss by Roberto Di Matteo.
Schmeichel once again doing the Levada here. And Di Matteo, wow, you wouldn't imagine he would miss. What a striker of the ball. But the movement of Schmeichel is definitely upsetting Chelsea.
Of course, the law has been changed that goalkeeper mustn't move off his line. That's still the same, but can move his feet on the line.
Yeah, but he's not meant to go from post to post, Martin, along the line.
So, more responsibility for Manchester United's new captain, Roy Keane, to keep Chelsea on the wrong end of things here. And simply now, Frank Leboeuf has to score to keep it alive. But it's 3 out of 3 for Alex Ferguson's team.
Yeah, good penalty again from the captain. There's no way I'm going to miss as he stepped up to strike that home.
Leboeuf showed himself to be a very capable penalty taker. All these moves were illegal before July the 1st, but Schmeichel quite entitled to do that now. But Leboeuf keeps the shootout going.
Well, I think Leboeuf thinks, well, if you're going to move about, I'm just going to stick it right in the middle, and that's exactly what he does. Schmeichel, yeah, I think he's got every right to do that, and it can be off-putting, but not for Frank Leboeuf.
So step forward, Nicky Butt. Put this away, and the Charity Shield stays with Manchester United. But the managers know that the real action was very closely and well contested, a 1-1 draw. But on the penalties, it's Manchester United's day again.
Well, I think Alex Ferguson will be thinking, hey, we're winners again. But at the same time, Butt just strikes this beautifully, bang. And you might think that Alex Ferguson's not too concerned. There you go. Not over the top, Hullet being the gentleman as he is.